Hi everyone and welcome back to The Rewind. Thank you very much for joining me on this video this week. Thanks very much for the comments, the subscriptions. You guys are amazing. I love talking to you guys. Please keep that up and help me build this community. Just a little update on the DVD wall. I've sort of started to get it going there. So put in some shelves. So in relation with my previous video on underrated 90s movies, I had a lot of comments come in and some of you guys made some fantastic suggestions. And then I got thinking, maybe I should do another list, but not necessarily about 90s underrated movies that you forgot, underrated 90s movies that I forgot. All right, so just for a little bit, just a heads up, I'm not going to include Dark City or Strange Days or something like Election. There's lots of other lists out there. So those movies have been given a lot of attention, and I'm sure, you know, as the years go by, more and more people will discover them as underrated gems. So I wanted to go for something a little bit more different. And guys, the purpose of this list is just basically to rate some movies that I've seen and I thought were pretty good. So it's just basically a suggestion list rather than these are the official top 10 underrated movies. Yeah, guys, so feel free to drop a comment if there's a film that you really liked and yeah, you've never seen it on a list before, then drop a comment. Maybe we'll do another video like this. All right, so without further ado, here we go.
Number 10, Broken Arrow. A fun 90s actioner that goes underrated as much as John Travolta's performance. He plays a US bomber pilot that goes rogue to steal the plane's nukes. It's up to fellow pilot Relly Hale, played by Christian Slater, to stop him. The film is brimming with action, explosions and thrilling spectacles for most of its runtime. But it's Travolta's Vic Deacon that is a complete delight and steals the entire movie. Probably overshadowed by John Woo's other actioner, Face Off. Broken Arrow is a classic 90s Woo action movie at its finest, taking you on a thrill ride full of mindless, awesome fun. Number 9, Sneakers. Now, I've not heard anything about this movie in years, despite it being a great heist film. It was so early in the 90s, but it feels like an Ocean's movie. The plot is simple. A thief and his crew is tasked to pull off a heist in order to clear their names and start new lives. The film is smart, and the ensemble is what really stands out. The colourful crew is so much fun, and you can't help but root for these criminals. The cast is stacked with Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Ben Kingsley, River Phoenix, Dan Aykroyd, and Mary McDonnell. Sneakers is a real hidden gem, and if you like the Ocean's movies, you will enjoy this fun heist movie. Number 8, Kingpin. This Farrelly Brothers dark sports comedy flew under the radar in the mid-90s. It stars Woody Harrelson, a pro 10-pin bowler that loses his bowling hand. He finds a new lease on the sport after discovering an Amish protege, played by Randy Quaid. Kingpin has a lot of funny moments, but it's the offbeat characters that keeps you engaged in almost disbelief. Very much a cringe comedy, at times hard to watch and look away, but it's Bill Murray's amazing performance as Ernie McCracken that will keep you watching right till the end. Number 7, I Love You to Death. Kevin Kline dominated the late 80s and early 90s, delivering with each outing. Now I could have gone with Soap Dish, but I Love You to Death is a kind of comedy you don't see anymore. Kline plays Joey Boca, a proud Italian business owner and family man. But as when Joey's wife Rosaline, played by Tracy Ullman, discovers that Joey has a string of lovers on the side. Angry, Rosaline and her Yugoslavian mother decide to murder Joey. And this is where the hilarity ensues, as Joey is not so easily killed. This is one of those circumstantial misadventures, perfectly executed, with a brilliant cast that includes William Hurt, Keanu Reeves, River Phoenix, and Joan Plowright. I Love You to Death is a side-splitting, enjoyable watch. Number 6, The Quick and the Dead. A film loaded with stars, Russell Crowe, Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman and Leonardo DiCaprio, and helmed by Sam Raimi, this modern western is a hell of a lot of fun. The gunslingers come to the town of Redemption to participate in a quick draw contest for a big prize. Raimi crafts a stylistic, show-stopping western, dialing the cool factor up to 11. With the jaw-dropping standoffs, stellar acting and set pieces, along with the masterful directing, The Quick and the Dead remains one of the best modern westerns to date. Number 5, Heavenly Creatures. a very early Peter Jackson film starring a young Kate Winslet and Meneli Linsky. It follows the true story of the notorious 1954 Parker Hulme murder case in Christchurch, New Zealand, as two girls start an intense friendship, one that leads only to a tragic end. Wilson Jackson, later to script The Lord of the Rings, crafted a beautifully tragic story of two girls from abusive backgrounds falling in love and spiraling into a darkness of hopelessness that leads them to murder. It's a slow burn, but it pulls you in with Jackson's masterful hand, right to its haunting climax. Number 4. Army of Darkness. The third installment of the Evil Dead franchise doesn't get as much love as the previous installments. It feels like Raimi is let loose and amps the ridiculous factor up to 250. The chainsaw-wielding Ash, played to perfection by Bruce Campbell, is subjected to time travel, sending him back to the Middle Ages. The action is wonderfully crafted and the stop motion still holds up. This installment completely discards the seriousness of Evil Dead and takes you on a groovy ride that will keep you laughing from start to finish. Number 3. The 13th Warrior. From Die Hard director John McTiernan and starring Antonio Banderas, this adaptation of Michael Crichton's 1976 novel, Eaters of the Dead, is a medieval horror adventure. It follows Ibn Hamed Fahadlan, a poet banished to the north from the Arab kingdom for indiscretions with the king's wife. He soon joins a group of 12 Vikings on a mission to a village plagued by creatures that come at night to eat the villagers. I mean, just that premise alone. Vikings killing hordes of cannibals with swords. It's awesome. This is an atmospheric, action-packed, dark adventure and is an absolutely thrilling watch. Number 2. The Edge. This film, featuring Sir Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin, is a thrilling, gritty, masterfully crafted survival drama, as the two main characters are left lost in the Alaskan wilderness after a plane crash. Their journey to safety is one of tension and mistrust between the two men, growing greater in the dangerous wilderness, with a man-eating bear hot on their trail. The acting, directing and cinematography is top-notch in this movie. The tension puts you on the edge of your seat as the two men are pushed to the very limit of their basic instinct. The Edge is gripping and brilliant. And before we get to number 1, I would just like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and drop me a like if you like this kind of content. Number 1. The Ghost in the Darkness. Now, this movie might be a bit biased, but I love it. It's the fascinating true story of the Tsavo man-eating lions. The British were building a bridge over the Tsavo River in Kenya in 1898, and the workers were picked off by two male lions. Colonel John Patterson, played by Val Kilmer, is tasked to take command of the outpost to see the bridge completion. But the lions prove a dangerous force, and the American hunter Charles Remington, played by Michael Douglas, arrives to aid their cause. It's a historic African epic with thrilling elements of horror. Now, the lions are displayed at the London Museum. You can tell by the picture it looks like two female lions, but they were actually two males hunting together, which is very unusual. There's a real edge of mystery to this story, and I think that just makes it even more palpable. It's a fantastic film, and it needs to be checked out if you have not already. Alright guys, so that's the list. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop me a like if you did, and please comment. Tell me what other 90s movies have we left out in this video. And do consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. And I'll see you guys again next week. Cheers.